And we are now live. Currently got a BNSF mixed freight running, the streetcar, and an old Tyco chassis system on the layout. Joe Quinn Model Railroading, welcome. Josh, hello. Ollie's channel, welcome. How's it going? Not too bad. Plane and train guy, welcome. What time is it? 9:17. Hello from Missouri. Thanks for inspiring me to work my own HO layout. My locomotives need repair. Howdy, folks. I haven't seen one of these in a while. Hotshot intermodal with the BNSF train on the table. Might be able to throw some intermodal cars on. Good morning from South Australia. It's 10:15 here. Train therapy time. Exactly, a bit of relaxation. Greetings from Georgia. Hello from California. Hi from Colorado. We got people joining in from everywhere. I also got this part of the layout up and running again. I was surprised. I really thought in the last live stream I was kind of talking about how this part of the layout, when I disconnected the Hershey factory, kind of came down a couple feet, and I really thought that damaged the track, but so far everything I've ran on it has gone right on through, so I guess the track work was okay. Can you run an Amtrak train later? Yeah, I think make that happen. Hello from Massachusetts. I'm switching to O-scale. Would you like some locomotives and rolling stock? Thank you so much for the offer. I've got plenty, but put out a post on Facebook. I'm sure there's a lot of people who would be very grateful. No inner loop. Well, got trains operating on every circuit. Can we get a streetcar? Can we get a street view of the streetcar? Yeah, sure. Tongue twister. With this table in the way, I think this is probably the best view of it. Let's kind of zoom the camera in here. I don't know how well he is known in the US and other parts of the world, but in Canada, Stompin' Tom Connors is a major name. He's kind of like our version of, I don't know if I'd say Elvis Presley, but I don't know who I'd compare him to in the US, but he's wrote a lot of famous songs like, you know, Hockey Night and stuff, but he made a really good song about streetcars. I highly recommend everybody check it out. He reminded me of Johnny Cash. Yeah, I think he could be considered a Canadian version of Johnny Cash. He's like a little bit honky-tonk, but I love his music. But yeah, he wrote a song about the streetcars in Toronto. I think it's called TTC Skedattler. Really fun song. Which locomotive is bigger, the River Rossi Big Boy or the Yellowstone? Probably the Big Boy, but not by much. SMT, are you on TikTok very much? Not really. Canadian version of Johnny Cash, quite the interesting description. How long have you had model trains? Since 2006. Yeah, SMT, I'm currently on vacation in Central Coast and a little drive away from the actual 100% train store. I've never heard of that place. Hey, SMT, my grandpa and I love model trains for a while. I think I have a split gear issue. Do you have any tips on diagnosing and fixing a split gear issue? Well, if your locomotive is making a ticking noise as it runs along, you've probably got a split gear. Sometimes you can glue the gear back into place if you add a degreaser to the gear, clean it up, and then add adhesive. But more often than not, it's better just to try to replace the gear if possible. I know sometimes the parts aren't available, but it really depends on what kind of locomotive you're working on. Do you do a lot of rail fanning? Not a crazy amount. I probably would do more if there was a lot of trains operating in the area, but the closest rail hub to me is Smith Falls, and that's about an hour away. So I don't do a crazy amount. I did do a live stream by one of the railroads in the US about 2 weeks ago, but that's about it. Beach Boys, Brian Wilson, Sly Stone, and the family are legends. I agree with that. I can't believe the Beach Boys are still doing concerts. I find it crazy that, they were popular in the 60s, and here they are nearly 50 years later, still rocking it. I think it's great. My sister actually almost went to see the Beach Boys in California. The trip ended up falling through, but it's crazy that they're still out there. I'm from Ottawa. Where are you from? Well, I'm from Gatineau, just the other side of the river. I know Ottawa pretty well, though. I've had jobs in Ottawa. I've got friends from Ottawa. Two different cities, but geographically not very far apart. The California Central Coast is a store in the city called Adastero. Not a jack of all trades hobby, but a dedicated train store. My son wants to see you run the QJ steam locomotive. Okay, I think we can make that happen. Let's get the tripod a little bit higher here. Gordon Lightfoot, yeah. Oh, looks like we got a super chat. Doesn't have any comments. It's from a guy named Gary TM. Thanks, Gary. How's Nerfcat doing? Pretty well. I think he's really enjoying the warm weather. He has arthritis, so he really likes spending time outside when he's in the sun. I think it loosens him up a little bit. We've all been joking too. He loves spending time out on the porch, and he shows up at the door, and then he meows at the door. He doesn't want inside, and it's because he wants food out there. So I always say he's ordering up DoorDash. We're on a steam train. Sure thing. In a gonna try to run the QJ on the inside circuit here. There's a bug on your... Yeah, we've had a bit of an amp problem around here. The QJ is so slow. SMT, my Bachmann HO DCC tender on my 262 Light Pacific had wires pulled out, causing the train to not move. How do I fix it? I mean, the easiest solution is just to place the entire wiring harness. That's what a lot of people do. If you're really bold, sometimes you can actually pull out the pins and solder the wires directly to them, but it's a very tedious process. So I'd probably just order a new wiring harness from Bachmann. That, or just bypass the whole wiring system and just solder each wire directly to the locomotive. That's what I've done on a lot of my Bachmann steam locomotives. I just solder the wires from the tender directly to the engine, and then I put a screw in the drawbar just so they can't separate. Can you run the essential workers unit for yeah, I can definitely get that going. Ever repaired a Tyco GP20 before? I've done a few of those. I mean, if you've worked on one Tyco Power Torque, you've pretty much worked on them all. There's not too much variation between them all. I have an engine that gets power, but it isn't running. Any ideas on how to fix it? So if it gets power, I'm assuming you mean the headlight lights up or the motor is humming. If the motor is not humming, I would say you've probably got a problem with the connection to the motor. So check the wires going to the motor. Like, give the wires a little pull, make sure the soldering is good. If that's not the problem, it could be the brushes. If the motor is making sound, I would say that you've probably got a seized drive. So either the bearings on the motor are seizing the engine, or the drive itself, like the gearbox, is maybe full of dried grease. Try to turn the motor manually. See if you can do that, and it should tell you a lot about what might be wrong. How did you remove the smoke deflectors on the QJ? I just pulled them right off. It wasn't a very hard process. Eventually, I intend to fully turn this locomotive into number 2008, but just getting the deflectors off the engine was the first process. They're just held in by a bit of adhesive, so if you just give them a bit of a pull, they'll pop right out. I like toast. It's a good way to start your day. Do you have any nickel plate engines? I think I do. See if the essential workers unit can handle the curves on the mountain layout here. Deflectors look ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about them. I like this engine a lot more without the deflectors. I also have a New York Central Niagara. I pulled the deflectors off that too. Not by choice. One of them came off and then I took the other one away, but I like the look of it still. Might run that one in a moment. One of my N-scale locomotives has an open 5-pole motor, and when I tried to run it after a trip, it started to smell a bit like diesel. Any ideas on what it could be? If you haven't cleaned the commutator in a while, I'd probably check that out. If not, it could be your coils, but I mean, fundamentally, make sure your gearbox, make sure the commutator are clean. Those are the two maintainable parts. If your coils are bad, they're bad. There's not much you can do about that, but sometimes the smell is because the coils are overheating, and that could be an issue with the drive. So that's where I would look. DC or DCC? Well, it really depends on what you're looking for. Like, if you're part of a club layout, I would definitely go with DCC. Or if you're really into operations, like you want to run multiple locomotives in a yard, I would also go with DCC. But if you just want to run trains in a circuit, kind of like I am right now, go with DC. It's cheaper, it's a lot more simple. And I don't know. I don't hate DCC. I think it has its place in the hobby, but personally, day in, day out, I'm usually operating DC just because it's just really straightforward. But for a club layout, I would definitely not want to have it run on DC power. I think DCC is great when you're running a lot of stuff at once. Let's see if I can get this coupled back up. Nope. It's hilarious how the old Tyco with the really crappy couplers was able to pull this thing around, and this thing is just not having it. Let's try one more time here. Nope, it's not having it. Any tips for repairing a 40-year-old locomotive that is seized? It's a steam engine with a tender. Just really take your time. If it's seized, take everything apart, like down to each screw. Clean all the components up. Carefully put it back together. I actually probably would recommend that you take a video of taking it apart just so you have a good idea of how to put it back together the same way. And add a lot of oil, because steam locomotives are very sensitive. They have a lot of moving parts, so you definitely need to make sure all those have oil. And it should be okay. I mean, if it's all metal, it's probably going to spring back to life, but just be very patient with it. Steam engines can be frustrating. I liked your shout out for Tyco locomotives. I like Tyco. They're not high-quality engines by any means, but I understand why they're so nostalgic in the hobby. I'm sure if I was born in, like, the 80s, I probably would be even more obsessed with them because I would have had that nostalgia factor. I was kind of born after the fact, but I get why people like them. Can you run a Conrail? Yeah, sure. We'll try to see if we can get that to pull these cars. As for Conrail engines, we got this one right here. I have a couple others. Not sure which would be best. I was going to use this one, but it doesn't have a coupler. Yeah, let's see if this thing will do nothing. Can you run the Blue Goose? If it will start, sure. Can you run the Deja Vu locomotive? Maybe so. Huh, got to derail the car there. Do you plan on expanding the layout? Probably not for the time being. And it doesn't move. Let's see if I can contact it with the DCC controller. So far, it's not responding. Yeah, there we go. Metal or plastic wheels? Oh, metal wheels all the way. Doesn't matter if you're operating old Tyco locomotives or modern engines. Plastic wheels pollute your track. That's the main problem with them. It's like if you're using plastic wheels, they slowly wear down and they leave residue, whereas metal wheels don't have that problem, and they also just create less rolling resistance. So I'm a very big fan of metal wheels. We'll try to back the QJ up. Hopefully we can hook back up to those cars. When are you going to paint the QJ? Well, I've already removed most of the Chinese decals off it, but probably within this year. What's your favorite animal? I don't think I have one. What's the speed limit on your layout? There is none. Things can go as fast as they want. Although I have had some comments lately saying I should slow things down, so maybe I should do a live stream where I run everything at train show speed. Ludicrous speed, yeah, that's right. You're right about the wheels. I don't even let plastic wheels on the layout. Just in the trash if they leave on the rail. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't have an issue with cheap equipment. I run all sorts of terrible stuff on the layout, but plastic wheels are just something like, if you're just going to be dumping in work to clean your track because of the plastic wheels, I just feel like it's kind of counterproductive. I guess somebody could argue old Tyco locomotives are also counterproductive, but I enjoy working on them. They don't mess up the layout, so. His favorite animal is, of course, Nerf cat. Well, I like Nerf cat as a specific cat, but it's not so much that I like cats more than dogs, more than horses, or any other animal. I don't know. There's no, it doesn't have to be an apples or oranges thing, in my opinion. What is important is that my locomotives keep running. I don't know why that other one just shut off. The QJ is not running. It's on the same circuit as this. And the other one isn't going. Christian Bachelor, faster is better, run free. Yeah, young hearts run free. the track really this dirty? I guess so. Oh, it derailed. How's that brass 484? I haven't run it in a while, but I think it's still well. Maybe just try to get it going instead of the QJ. It'd probably be more reliable. Wow, the QJ is struggling. Yeah, the bigger your layout is, the more track maintenance you've got, more track cleaning to do all the time. If you got plastic wheels, anything, it's just big time consuming cleaning. Yeah, that's just it. Have you ever messed around with static grass? I've been doing it on my layout. A huge pain in the butt to do. I've never worked with static grass. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've seen a lot of people use it before, but I don't have a static grass applicator. I've just used the old style woodland scenic grass that you just lay over glue. What's your advice for a smaller train-related YouTuber looking to grow their channel? I would say find something that you're skilled at and focus on that. If you know how to do DCC installs, do a lot of videos about that. People will appreciate it. Can you run a brass? Yeah, sure. We'll replace the QJ with one. I don't know if it will handle the inside curves, but we'll try it anyhow. Hey, SMT, I'm trying to trade a steam locomotive. What do you think is the best way? Should I wait for a train show or see if anybody would want it on Facebook Marketplace? Do you figure anybody might be interested in it? I would try to throw it on Facebook Marketplace first. And train shows are a good way to get rid of things, but you're probably not going to be getting like the best market value because there's such an abundance at train shows. I just don't find that you can get a whole lot for things. On Facebook Marketplace, though, I do see people selling things for a lot. If you're willing to list it on eBay, you could probably get a lot more there. But yeah, what I would do, put it on Facebook, see what you can get. And if you don't get it on Facebook, bring it to the train show. If you're willing to sell it at a bit of a loss, you'll probably be able to unload it there. I have a train that's 70 years old. What should I do? Well, I mean, if you care for it, I'd just keep it running. But if it's 70 years old, I'd imagine it's somewhat rare. I ran my 60-plus-year-old Lionel set yesterday for the first time since 2020 run. It still runs around the layout like brand new. Well, that's post-war Lionel for you. You put it on the track, it just goes. I did a video a couple months ago where I ran a bunch of post-war Lionel stuff that had been sitting since 1969, so about 55 years. It all started right up. I had to give a bit of oil to one of them, but the rest of them just ran. That post-war Lionel stuff is just tough. Nothing can really break it. It was so well engineered. Hey Harrison, coming from Arizona. Today, do you have any Atchison, Topeka, Santa Fe 3751 trains? If no, I have a question. I have a FB40 Amtrak engine that's been broken. All the wires are gone. Well, wiring missing is not a big issue. I mean, you can replace it with practically anything. I don't have that particular Santa Fe locomotive, though. The trolley's hauling. Yeah, it's fast. That didn't sound good. We can get a layout tour. Yeah, sure. Let me just get a brass steam locomotive going and fix whatever derailment just occurred. I hope this thing can run on the inside circuit. I've never run it on that as far as I can remember. Although the last time I ran this, I think I had 15 radius curves on the inside circuit, so it's going to be a good trial and error kind of thing. We've got a little hitchhiker here. Come on, little buddy. Gotta get the theme song for the Littlest Hobo going here. Try to run this around for one circuit. We'll see if it will stay on the track. Thank you for the very generous super chat, Old Bay Rail fan. Hey, SMT, what are you going to do with the 2102 you got in your latest lot? If you don't need it, I would really like to use it for parts. I'll have to determine if it's good or not. If it's fixable, I'll fix it. But yeah, if it's a parts engine, I'll talk to you about that. Weird question, but do you watch anime? Not a whole lot. I was watching Initial D back in the day, but that's about it. Well, apparently this thing runs on the inside circuit just fine. That's great to see. I had a comment a couple months ago saying I was a snob for saying that the larger Bachmann locomotives couldn't handle 22 radius curves, and they were saying, oh yeah, I know, you just need to have wider curves. It's pretty normal. It's like, yeah, well, this thing is the same wheelbase, and it's going around just fine. Trying to figure out where that Conrail locomotive derailed. Hello from Sydney, Australia, where it's early afternoon. Looks like we got another super chat. Hey, SMT, coming from the South Bay Hysterical Railway Society. I have an SD45 from EG. No matter what I do under power, it will start up, but then it will stop running under power. Any thoughts? Sounds to me like it could be overheating. If you want to send an email to scrumptiousmodeltrains@gmail.com, I can try to help you sort that out. But if a locomotive is starting up, that means the electrical system, the gearbox, everything is working right. If it's shutting down after a while, to me that sounds like the motor's getting too hot and it's seizing up. Have you been using the 3D printer? For small projects, nothing too major at the moment. Do you like Mary Poppins? I haven't seen Mary Poppins in probably 15 years, but yeah, she's fine. Do you have any upcoming O-scale videos? I have an eBay locomotive I got from O-scale, but that's about all I can think of at the moment. That's not good. Do you ever run your trains with the lights off? Once in a while. I think in the last live stream that happened. We've got some multi-track drifting going on here. Deja vu, I've just been to this place before. I don't know what's going on with that. Something is shorted really bad. Yeah, now it's gone. Whoop. That was close. Conrail derailed in the same spot. That's weird. Scrumptious is a character from yeah, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. What a movie. That movie was my entire childhood. I swear I watched that every day for like the entire year of 2004. Every time my grandparents were looking after me, I'd put that movie on. And for some strange reason, I developed an obsession with candy factories. I wonder why. I love the intro to that movie. You run DCC. The Conrail's is running on DCC. I get accused of never running DCC stuff, but it is hooked up to this. I remember that movie in the I think it came out in 1963 or 4. You need a chitty chitty bang bang on the layout. I don't know if anybody makes an HO scale model of one, but yeah, I'd definitely put that car on the layout. I think my favorite character from that movie is the granddad. Everyone's just off living their lives, and he's got his whole thing going on, but he keeps getting interspersed throughout the movie. How'd you get started with trains? I've been into trains my entire life, as far back as I can remember. I think my interest started because my grandfather had a house beside the Wakefield steam train. And every weekend, me and my dad would drive up there, and my granddad and him and my grandmother, they'd all have coffee there. And when we would hear the whistle, we'd run down to the tracks and we'd throw pennies on it, and the train would run them over and stuff. I couldn't even walk when I was first seeing that train. Like, my dad would bring me down on his shoulders. As I got older, I'd walk down there with him and stuff. And I think that's how I got started. The reason I got into model trains, though, was my dad. He was into model trains back in the 70s and 80s, and then he put the collection away. And then when I was around 5 years old, he took me over to my grandmother's house, and we dug way... It was under the staircase. We had to go through a ton of old boxes, dust everything off, and he dug out this one box, and he brought me through his whole collection of model trains. And that was in either December... maybe November of 2006. I think it was strategic on his part. I think he wanted me to get into the hobby, but yeah, that Christmas I asked for a train set, and he let me bring home one of his old locomotives. So that Christmas I got a train set, and we were also able to run some of his old stuff. So yeah, it was a great time. I recently dug up the footage of my very first train set and running that old locomotive of his, so I'm thinking for Christmas 2026, I think I'll upload the video of my very first train set. I'm making a video on why Lifelike is a good budget brand, and I would like to use a little bit of footage from a few of your videos. I want to ask permission to use it. Yeah, if you're just using some small clips, that's fine. Appreciate it if you put credit to the channel. But yeah, small clips are fine. Would you ever like to visit Horseshoe Curve? I think that'd be an amazing place to go. Do you still have it? Can you run it? Yeah, I can definitely run my first engine. Probably won't do whatever this thing's doing. You can tell this thing lived a life. All right, let's see if my old bucket of bolts still has it. Yeah, it does. I love this thing. I think it derailed. Can you put a Porsche 930? I don't know where I'd get one. I'll try to run this thing on the regular side of the layout. I just bought a Bowser Challenger for $5 in non-working condition. The guy didn't know what the tender needed for power, so it worked after all. Today the valve gear broke in half. How can I fix it? Ooh. If you want to send me an email, I'll try to help you with that, but if the valve gear broke, that's going to be a challenge. If it's just a pin that you need, there are ways to fix that, but if the whole assembly is broken, that's pretty bad. But for $5, I mean, there's definitely room to invest. And I tripped the circuit breaker. Thank you for calling out the AI slop videos. It's really frustrating to see them get tens of thousands of views. I'm lucky to get 1,000. Well, that's just it. Like, there are tons of small channels that I see in the model railroad community that make really good content, and they don't get a fraction of the views. And they're making original content. You can tell that they're putting in the effort. And then there are these AI channels who are just stealing from everybody and then, you know, reaping the rewards. I don't know. They know how to game the system, and that's really what bothers me and stuff. It's like, you know, when this channel was brand new, there was not a lot of other channels in this space. It was pretty evergreen. Now I find there are new channels springing up all the time, and I'm okay with that because there's a lot of people bringing really good stuff to the table. It's wonderful. But these AI channels, they don't care about, you know, making good content or contributing to the community. They're here to profiteer, and they're doing it on the backs of everybody else. So yeah, I don't feel bad shining a light on that. Nathan Delay, welcome. You still talk to Dirty Dan? I haven't spoken with Dirty Dan in a while, but I have nothing against the guy. I think I'm going to try to run the chest beacon on fire. Do you own anything from California Pacific Electric? I don't think I do. Need to see a person in his 23 years into model railroads. I've been into model railroading since I was a teenager, and that was in the 80s. Keep copyright striking AI channels. After 3 strikes, they're gone. It doesn't matter how much of your content they use. Well, if they make garbage AI videos, that's not really my problem. I don't respect it, but that's their thing. But if they're making videos where they're stealing everybody's content, yeah. Why don't you ever post rail fanning videos? There's not really that much to rail fan in the Ottawa area. It's not a very industrial spot. Like the Quebec and Gatineau Railway sends 1 train a week. So really the only place where you're going to see trains is Smith Falls, and that's an hour away. And even the Smith Falls yard, it's relatively active, but I don't know, there's not a whole lot to rail fan, and there's a lot of rail fan channels that could do a much better job than I ever could. Hey Harrison, I'm a beginner HO model railroader. I don't have much other than the new Western Hopper. My friend got me as a graduation gift. Any advice on for a starter? I would probably try to get some inspiration from other people. Like look on the internet, look through all model railroader magazines, and make yourself a list of what you want, and then go from there. I find it can really help clarify what direction to go. Accident time. Hopefully not. I think something went a little wrong here. Started with an Athearn. Yeah, it's not a bad brand to be with. Where basketball was invented, Basketball was invented in Smith Falls? That's the first time I've heard of that. I know about Brooke Henderson. I think she's the top female golfer in Canada. And I also know that the very first RCA records for the Beatles were actually made in Smith Falls. So the very first Beatle records that ever rolled off were in Smith Falls. And Smith Falls was also the location for the first Hershey factory outside of Pennsylvania. But I've never heard the story about it being the place where basketball was invented. Why don't you make custom trains anymore? Oh, I never really stopped. Something else about my Lionel set, it seems to slow down and speed up in certain spots. Do you know what that could be causing it? It's probably just a bad connection. I would check the connections in the track, and I would also just clean your track, see if that might be slowing it down. Because, you know, if there's areas where the track is dirty, it might not stop the engine, but if it's losing power for short moments, it could definitely slow it down. Do you watch any Twitch streamer? I don't watch Twitch. Do you have any tips on how to identify a 70s Varney? I believe I got a BNO F7, but I can't tell if it's an old lifelike or any things like that. How can I look out to be certain? I don't think Varney existed by the 70s. I'm pretty sure Varney was defunct by the end of the 60s and lifelike took them over. But an old lifelike does have a lot in common with an old Varney engine. I'll see if I can find an old lifelike so I can kind of show you the difference. This is an old lifelike. So if you've got one like this, it's got the plastic gears. This has a lot in common with the Varney, but it was cheap in design. So, I mean, this is a Varney, but it's a lifelike. If it has metal gears, it's probably a genuine Varney, but yeah, they're not exactly the same. Looks like we got a new member, Reba Peeler. Welcome to the channel. Hello from Sweden, welcome. First NBA game was in Toronto. I thought Model Power took over Varney. No, I'm pretty sure it was lifelike. It's hard to say though. So many manufacturers were, you know, either rebadging designs or stealing designs from each other. Like Model Power, lifelike, IHC, Mahano, all share designs. I think that some Model Power engines were actually made by Roco. There was a lot of rebadging. There was a ton of stuff going on, so I think that's where a lot of the confusion goes. I believe that Varney was bought by Lifelike around 75. It's possible. I had always thought that Lifelike was created out of Varney. So I believe that Lifelike was originally just a styrofoam manufacturer that got into model trains through making tunnels and things like that. I don't like shark noses, but I know you don't care about my opinion. Well, I'm not personally offended if you don't like shark noses. What power supply are you using with the analog display and gauges? It's a MRC Tech 3 9500 series. Very good controller. Sounds like back in the day, model train manufacturers were a bunch of thieves of each other's property. There was definitely some thieving going on, but a lot of it I think was just the fact that it was cheaper to rebadge existing products, so they all did that. Because I've had people tell me before that, no, that locomotive is not a Model Power, it's a Rivarossi, and it's technically true because it was made by Rivarossi, but it was sold in a Model Power box or an AHM box. Like there was a lot of parts sharing between manufacturers at one point. But like, for example, an old proto locomotive looks almost identical to an Athearn. So similar that you can actually swap proto parts with Athearn parts and vice versa. But that actually was stolen, where they just, you know, freebooted the design. I mean, they stole from the right place, I tell you what, but not a very moral decision. Don't you have it? Yeah, I've got a couple of TGVs. On board, lurking forever. Electric Railway Productions, thank you for becoming a member. Lionel stole the Bachmann GS4 design. I'm pretty sure what actually happened was there was a manufacturer, I think Kadar was making products for Lionel in their HO division, and then Bachmann was about to go under, so Kadar bought them out, and then they just transferred over a lot of the designs they were using to make Lionel products to Bachmann, because if you look in Lionel's 1976 catalog, you can find the old GS4 locomotives, and then the 1978 catalogs for Bachmann, you find the exact same engine. So I don't think Bachmann actually ever stole any designs. I think they were just transferred over. Lionel's history in the HO market is very complicated. I was told that Lionel stole that design from Bachmann and got sued for it. I'm not sure. The trolley's booking it. Yeah, no kidding. If you could be head of any of the model railroad companies, which would you choose? Athearn, Walthers, Cato, Atlas. I'm probably missing some, but that's what comes to mind. Do you advise restarting up a set? I've got an SD9 from the 90s in Atlas. I'm nervous about firing the beast back up. If it's an old Atlas, I really wouldn't worry about it. Those things are pretty tough. If you're really concerned, maybe, put it on the track, just see how it performs. If you're giving it a lot of power and it's acting sluggish, don't run it. It probably means the drive is gummed up. Sometimes the lubricants dry out, but if it's running fine, I really wouldn't worry. Those old Atlas engines are very tough. But throwing a bit of fresh oil, like some Labelle 102 in it, is not going to hurt it. What's your opinion on modern HO Lionel equipment? I got some freight cars with metal wheels and couplers for $10 a piece, but the detail is non-existent. Yeah, well, the tooling is about 50 years old. I think it actually is old Marks or Model Power stuff. I'm not really bothered by the detail, but I'm not too impressed with their steam locomotives. Somebody actually sent me one recently, and the wheels are already unquartered. It's a 10-year-old locomotive, and the wheels are already messed up. That's unacceptable for the price they're charging. Personally, I probably would not buy a modern Lionel HO product. I don't think the rolling stock is going to burn you. Like, I don't think it's going to be problematic, but I don't think I'd buy one of their locomotives. They cost a lot of money, they don't have good detail, and seemingly they're not that reliable. Labello, yeah, this stuff. Lionel HO models are just cheaply made crap, priced at the same price they charge for their O-scale stuff. I personally think they're just trying to like rely on the brand, because Lionel is a household name. Like, even people who are not into trains usually know what Lionel is. So I feel like they're relying on that a lot. Yeah, they haven't released a product I've been impressed by. Like, if they were releasing old tooled products at a really good price, I wouldn't mind. But it's the fact that they're re-releasing stuff that's, you know, been in production for 50 years at a high price. Throw knuckle couplers on it, throw metal wheels on it, and call it a day. It's just lazy. Did you know that the Monon, Indiana Railroad went out of business? I was not aware of that. What do you think about Aurora's SD60? Do you know if they work on the N-scale? I haven't worked with any N-scale products from Aurora. I don't even know if they make them, but in terms of their HO scale stuff, the one Aurora locomotive I've had has been reliable. I know that Chris from Go Beer or Go Home also helped test, I think, about 60 Aurora models, and they were all good as well. I don't know enough about them to be sure, but so far I haven't heard anything that bad about them, so I don't think they're horrible. I think some of Lionel's HO rolling stock isn't half bad for the price, but the rest of it is junk, especially the track. It's awful. The track does not hold together. I don't know what they were thinking. It's your old power lock track. And this stuff's a little bit tricky to get together, but it's got a lot of downward force. If you try to do that with Lionel track, like, it just snaps right on the spot. Nothing holds it together. I just compared one of my Lionel cars to Marks and Model Power cars. You're right, cheaply made crap. Yeah, and I mean, if they weren't charging a lot, I really wouldn't care about that, because, like, Marks was a budget manufacturer. They did not sell their stuff for a lot of money, and it shows, but Marks did care about quality. Like, you know, I have Marks locomotives, which are 60 years old, and they're still running strong, so they were clearly well made. Just not very well detailed, but Lionel's they're just taking old tooling and then they're, you know, putting knuckle couplers on it, putting metal wheels on it. They're saying, hey, here's our new product. It's not a new product, it's old tooling. So either make new tooling and sell it at a high price because it's a new product, or sell really old tooling at a low price and make it budget. I think it has to go one way or the other. They're trying to make their cake and have it too, or whatever the expression is. How's the Rivarossi 224 Atlantic? It's doing well. I haven't run it in a while, but my grandmother wants to come over here and run trains for 3 hours, so I'm hoping to get another one of her old locomotives running again, and then hopefully we're gonna have 3 of the things out on the layout. Don't yeet the sell it. Yeah, I'll try not to. Sounds like Lionel is taking the easy route instead of the hard route, which is to put more effort in things that people like better. I feel like that's something that's going on in the entire hobby. Like, a lot of manufacturers are just reusing old tooling, and I wouldn't have a problem with them reusing old tooling. It's just the fact that they're reusing old tooling which they've had for 50 years and then charging a lot for it. Like, if somebody wanted to come up with a set with old tooling but it was dirt cheap, I'd respect that. I'd be like, okay, you know, you're focusing on budget, but it's like they're trying to focus on budget for themselves, but they're charging top dollar. Because tooling a product is very expensive, but the benefit for manufacturers, like if you come up with a design for a boxcar year in, year out, it becomes cheaper to make because, you know, you've paid for those same dies and then you reuse them again and again and again. Which is a better company, Kato or Walthers? I think Kato, in terms of long-term reliability, is probably better, but Walthers is cheaper. I like both manufacturers a lot, though. I've got some old Walthers engines, and they've never given me any trouble. Athearn, Kato, Atlas, and Walthers seem to be the only companies that make good products for the money. I find Walthers is the best blend. Like, Walthers trainline products are not super detailed, but I do find that they're decent. And they run really well for the money. And Kato, Atlas, and Athearn, they're not very cheap, but if you're willing to pay the money, I do find that they do make a good product. What's your opinion on Bachmann Easy Track? It works. My only problem with it is that the track with the black road bed is steel, so that's not going to last very long. And as of recently, I've discovered that the track with the gray road bed, which actually has nickel silver, is more expensive than Kato Unitrack. So I'd probably just go with Kato track over Bachmann track, but it's not awful stuff. It's just not my favorite. Before I forget, James Naismith, I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, in 1941 founded the basketball. It went to the stateside, but it started in Smith Falls. Huh. I've always wondered if the steam... Okay, so I get asked about the steam locomotive a lot. It's out of my dad's collection. Currently, it's not running. I need to rebuild it, but the motor was burned out of it years ago, and I just put it on display, and then I got it running, but it wasn't with the correct motor. So it is fixable. It's just not operational at the moment. Do you have a CSX Ghost livery? I don't think I do. If you ever visit Southern California, you gotta visit the Southern California Railway Museum. It has an amazing collection of old and new diesel electrics. Sorry for the promotion, had to help him. Oh, that's all good. Has anyone ever produced a Soul Train set from the TV show? Might be a tad too young. Wasn't Soul Train a music thing? Unlimited budget. What track brand and what power system? As for the track power system, it would all be the same. If I had an unlimited budget, it would really be about the facility. Like, if you could buy a warehouse and build a layout there, it'd be awesome. You could build something massive. But I do find that Atlas and Pico track work pretty well. This controller, as far as I'm concerned, for DC is the best one you can get. I'd probably get an upgraded version of the Digitrax controller, but the rest of the system, I'm very happy with it. It does a great job. Soul Train was a dance show with live guests. Didn't they have David Bowie on? Super Train, I think he meant to say. Have you ever been to Texas? If not, you should go. I haven't been to Texas before. You see the other part of the layout? Yeah, sure. I don't have anything operating over here at the moment. David Bowie did appear on Super Train. I had to look it up. I thought I saw a clip of that at some point. Besides trains, what else did you grow up with? I don't know. I had an interesting childhood. My mom was really into horseback riding, so she kind of got my mom and my sister and me into that. And spent a lot of time outside. I was always doing stuff outdoors. I was signed up to some nature program. We'd go out and light fires and things like that. It was always a good time. A lot of traveling, a lot of going down to Maine. Nothing really in particular comes to mind, though, as a specific thing. I was into soccer for a while, but once we were going to Maine more, I dropped that. How old were you when you first got into model trains? I was 5 years old. Can you remake the wreck of 4005? I wouldn't do that. Have you ever seen the abandoned trains from the leftovers of the film Fugitive from 1993? I haven't seen any pictures of that, no. Do you fish? I never have. I never have. It's funny because my grandparents actually had a cottage on a lake, and my sister was really into fishing. She loved fishing, but I was too much of a fire nut. I was like, I don't know, 7 years old, and my grandmother trusted me enough to like light fires and stuff like that, so I'd just be busy finding twigs and stuff, throwing them in the fire. My sister would be fishing nearby. Work is for people who don't know how to fish. Well, it's funny because every time I mention that I'm into boating, everybody's like, oh, you must love fishing. And it's like, I never have before. This man almost grew up to be a pirate. I am a pyromaniac. I love, every time there's like a thing going on at the farm, or somebody's like, Harry, I need you to build me a fire, I will do it. I love it. It runs in the family. My great-grandfather apparently was like that. My grandfather was like that. I'm like that. Is the cat's... Yeah, Nerf Kitty's still around. Some of those fires in Canada. Okay, nothing to do with me. Where have you been recently? I've been to Maine. I feel like he's... I don't ignore anybody. You have any Kansas City Southern? I think I have one in storage, but nothing on the layout. What do you think about Art Deco trains? I love the streamlined designs. How did Nerf Cat get his name? I was walking through Target or Walmart or something like that years ago, and I saw that they had a line of Nerf products called Nerf Dog, and I thought it'd be really funny if they had a line of products called Nerf Cat. So the dog will play frisbee and stuff, a cat never will, and so I just thought it would be hilarious, like Nerf Cat. This would be a useless product, and I don't know, for some reason that idea just stuck with me, so every time I'd see the cat, I'd just be like, what's up, Nerf Cat? And I started saying that in the live streams, and for some reason that really seemed to resonate with everybody, so that's what happened. Favorite fast food? A&W. You still have good... Yeah, A&W's... I don't know why A&W does well in Canada. It's an American brand. I don't know how it ended up here. I think they tried to go international, and for some reason Canada is the only place where they seem to have ever done well. But yeah, I love me some A&W. Every time I go to the Arn Pryor train show on the way back, that's like my tradition. I get myself a coffee, burger from A&W. It's a good day. And sometimes, if I'm really feeling greedy, get 2 A&W burgers, 2 Mama burgers. Oh. A&W hot dogs. I've never had a hot dog from A&W, but the root beer is really good. What number of Labella oil do you use often? Most of the time I use Labella 102. For grease I use 106. Any fast food restaurants in the USA that aren't in Canada? I feel like there's gotta be some. I find usually like Canada has a lot of the same brands that are in the States, but they're just kind of watered down. Like in Canada, you can go to the store and you can buy Oreos, but they have like 2 flavors. In America, they have like, I don't know, 15. Sonic. We don't have Sonic in Canada. I'm trying to think of some other ones. We don't have Hardee's. We don't have... I don't think we have any Waffle Houses. Yeah, we don't have any Dunkins. No I don't think there's Whataburger. If there is, I haven't seen one. Everything in Canada is more expensive thanks to the crappy dollar. Yeah, that's true. No Chick-fil-A. In-N-Out. I think In-N-Out is only like a Southern America thing. I haven't even seen that on the north side. I have been to In-N-Out because I have family in California, but I've never seen any on the northern side of the U.S. Definitely none in Canada. Culver's, I've never even heard of that. In Canada, we do have some other brands, though. We've got, let's see. We got Swish LA, that's a good place. Yeah, McDonald's are all over the place in Canada. Timmy's, yeah. A&W began in America, but is now prominently a Canadian brand now. Now, I wonder why. Arby's. I don't know if Arby's exists here. I think they might. Highway 50. I've never heard of Highway 55, to be honest. Yeah, we got Popeyes. Got plenty of In-N-Outs in Colorado and Buc-ee's. I want to go to a Buc-ee's one day. I don't think we have Jack in the Box either. Steak and Shake, yeah. I think Taco Bell exists in Ontario, but I think they moved out of Quebec. Moe's. I haven't heard of Moe's either. Long John Silver's. Long John Silver's is a big meme in the family because back in the 70s, maybe the 80s, I'm not sure which, but my mom's side of the family, like my grandfather, his brothers would always go up to Florida every winter, and they would go to Long John Silver's, and every Friday they would buy a whole bunch of stuff from there, and then they'd microwave it all. And like this one time, my grandmother, who knew how to cook fish, she was really good at that, offered to make them a meal, and they were like, no, we want our Long John Silver. So it's a big joke in the family. Like, I don't know, whenever somebody offers to do, like, to cook something, everyone's like, no, I want my Long John Silvers. Applebee's. I don't think we have Applebee's. I mean, does Applebee's even still exist? I thought they were going out of business. Wendy's. Yeah, Wendy's is here. What's chilling on the bridge? Old Swedish cars. With Canadian brands, got Mr. Sub, Swiss Chalet, Harvey's, country style donuts. Harvey's is amazing. I don't know if Harvey's exists at all in the US, but if you haven't been there, it's almost like Subway with hamburgers. Pizza Hut. Yeah, we got the Pizza Huts. I love Pizza Hut. I feel terrible every time I eat it, but it's really good. You have any train games on a computer? Trains with a Z, maybe? I don't know. I don't play a whole lot of video games anymore. Sparky, welcome. Have you ever ridden on a PCC streetcar or any similar ones? I think I went on once, one at the Seashore Trolley Museum. I think it was a Pennsylvania one. Subway. Yeah, I like me some Subway. I got that Southwest sauce. New York fries is good. Canadian pineapple pizza. Yeah, well, that's the big running joke in Canada, that if a restaurant has an American name, it's probably a Canadian brand, like New York fries or Boston Pizza. I think they're both Canadian brands. Is there Costco? Yeah, we've got Costco. My friend works at Applebee's and calls it Crapplebee's because the food is basically microwaved and it tastes like an alarm clock. I feel like that's kind of the case for most fast food restaurants. I worked in fast food for a couple of years, and it does change your opinion on whether or not you want to eat there or not. But every time I eat fast food, I just like to pretend that maybe this particular location had better standards than the location I worked at, and it's all good. Ignorance is bliss. Hawaiian pizza is from Canada. I think that California rolls are also from Canada. I really don't understand how all that works, but It is. Chipotle and Panda. I've never been to Panda Express. I do like Chipotle, though. Baskin Robbins. Have you ever thought about having a fire scene on your layout? There is one. At least you have Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons is not really that good a restaurant. It used to be better. I feel like a lot of... I think you could ask any Canadian, is Tim Hortons a good restaurant? I think they would all agree, no. It's not a very good restaurant, but it's around. Like, you only have to walk 10 feet to get to one. It's really cheap. That's one thing I will give Tim Hortons credit for. It's like, everything is affordable. They're one of the few fast food places that have actually tried to focus on making sure you can actually buy stuff. But yeah, availability and affordability is all it has going for it. I feel like a lot of people are just like, well, I don't really like it, but it's around, so I'll go there. Applebee's is all over Pittsburgh. I swear there's one every 15 miles. I think I've only been to Applebee's once in my life. I think it was in upstate New York. Because I was, I don't know, 10 years old, and I broke my foot in a scooter accident the day we were supposed to drive back home. And so we ended up having to go to a hospital, and then on the way back, it was so late. Couldn't think of any restaurants to go to, so we were like, well, I guess we're going to go to Applebee's, and it was all right. Average Applebee's experience. Quick Trip. I don't know if we have Quick Trip. We've got a lot of Circle K's. Ever been to Indiana? I don't think I have. Most of the U.S. I've been in, it's either been on the north side or the south side. I've been to some of the Midwest. I've been to Pennsylvania. I've been to Ohio, Kentucky. So the LA, no, I haven't been to LA in like, I don't know, 11 years. Put the WTC on your layout. I think that would stir up a lot of controversy. I worked at Friendly's in high school, which had its start in Springfield, Massachusetts, which is where basketball was invented. So it wasn't Smith Falls. Ever been to, yeah, I've been around Orlando, I've been to Miami. I've driven from Ocala, Florida, all the way to Quebec. So, been through Georgia, all that side. Been to Maine a million times. I've been to Maine every year of my life. I don't think there's a single time I haven't been there. I'm in a pickle. I got a pristine in the box 2011 model power starter set, never been ran. Should I take it out of the box or no? I don't know. I mean, it's model power. I don't know if it's going to be ever worth that much, so I wouldn't worry. If you really want to run it, I don't think you're going to kill the value that much. My buddy ATDCC Colby says hello, big fan. Yeah, I've seen his account on here before. What's the most valuable locomotive in your collection, both monetarily and personally? Oh, without a doubt, the River Osseo Hiawatha. Ever been to Chicago? Not really. I've been through Chicago Airport, but I wouldn't consider that the same as actually like visiting the city. Where's the... Okay, I'll run that and then... better finish off the live stream. Do you have Maynards? I don't think there are any Maynards. I wish there was, because I've heard they sell trains. Gotta say, this thing was so loyal. That was close. That locomotive should be mass produced. Yeah, I agree. I think this would be a terrific product. Broadway Limited should make it. They really love making things that don't exist. Anyway, I should probably end off the live stream so I don't keep everybody upstairs awake. But thank you all so much for joining in this evening. As usual, I had a lot of fun running stuff around. I don't know how that didn't derail, but yeah, a lot of fun running trains and chatting with everybody. And I hope you all enjoyed as well. Have a wonderful night, everyone.